Hello and welcome back to the Witty Knits podcast. My name is Millie and I'm coming to you from northeastern Pennsylvania. It's been a little bit since I've posted, but unfortunately mid-April I came down with something that just kind of took me out. I just haven't really felt like filming since, but I'm feeling great now, back to my normal self, and I have a lot to show you today. So we'll do this video in segments. It's probably going to be quite a bit longer than what I've been posting in the past. Let's start with finished objects from, let's see, March, April, and May. I'm not going to go in any particular order, just kind of what I have here next to me. And if you see me looking down, I have my Ravelry notes in front of me as well, so I can give you all of the accurate information. Let's start with what I'm wearing right now. This is the Tulsa tee. And I did a version that added eyelets. I didn't see the pattern actually like have the schematics for eyelets, so I just kind of figured it out myself, and it really was a super easy pattern to follow, and so it was also easy to customize. But I made this out of 100% cotton. This is K&C, which is Joann's brand, RIP, organic cotton. And I had quite a bit of this in stash because I really stocked up when Joann's was closing, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with this yarn. But I decided that I really do need some summer knits because most of my stuff is a little too warm for even now at the end of May. I can't wear a lot of my handmade knits. So I started, a lot of the clothes I'm going to show you are more summery knits. How many times can I say that word? But yeah, I absolutely love the way this came out. I'm a little nervous because it is 100% cotton, and I've been wearing this for like maybe 2 hours now. I ran to the grocery store before filming, and I feel like the neckline is already kind of starting to sag where it's growing just from being on my body. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of elastic thread and just kind of crochet it to the inside of the neckline to keep that up and nice and high. I really don't like when shirts sag off my shoulder, and I don't have wide shoulders to begin with to like really hold fabric on well. So I definitely am going to do that at some point in the future. But overall, the pattern, like I said, it's super easy to follow. Good for, in my opinion, a beginner raglan construction. And I really enjoyed it. It was a quick knit. I think this took me like a week to make, and I used only a little over 2 balls of that cotton yarn, and I have 10 I think in stash, so I'm definitely gonna make some other summer tops with this. Also, forgive my hair, I cut it all off after I started feeling better because I just felt like it was weighing me down when I was sick. So and now I just like don't really know what to do with my hair, like how to style it. But it's just, my hair's always been kind of wild, and that's just the nature of it, so we're living with it. The next thing I want to talk about is, actually I knit this twice because I love the pattern so much. It is the pressed flowers kerchief, and I'll show you a better idea of what it looks like when it's folded out. It's got these beautiful flowers along the edge, and it is mosaic knitting, which if you've never knit in mosaic before, it is so much fun. Something about it is just like really meditative to me, and I really enjoy it. So I made the neckerchief larger than the pattern called for so that I can have something like really squishy and nice around my neck and just put a little ring around it, and there's still like enough where you can see what's going on. And then I still had quite a bit of yarn left over, so I made a more to pattern size version with I-cord so I can wear it you know, like a headscarf. This is 2 different strands of sock yarn. The first one is Ella Ray Color Magic in the, I think it's called like Sweet November. It's a beautiful array of greens and yellows and blues. I really love this yarn. If I see it in the future, I'm definitely going to pick up another skein. And I held it with, or the opposite color, I didn't hold them together, is Newburgh Yarn Co. It's one of their second sale. It's a beautiful, like, so dark brown, it almost comes off as black unless you're like holding it right up to black, then you can kind of see the difference. It's kind of like almost my hair color, but it's, in my opinion, a hard brown to find. And I had like 4 skeins of this. I used a little bit of it last year. And I have some stashed away for a sweater, but I still have a little bit of left over from this skein after making these 2. So 1 skein of 2 different types of yarn can get you quite far. I could probably make actually 1 more, maybe if I flipped them. So the main color would be the greens and the yellows, and then it would have brown flowers. I think I can get away with making 1 more with the amount of leftover that I have. So it's really nice to have patterns where the yarn can go a long way. I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. I definitely wouldn't wear them, you know, at the same time. I feel like that's too matchy for me, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep this or gift it, but I really enjoyed this pattern. Next up, another thing I knit in a cotton blend. This is the Laura vest, and it's hard to see on camera because it's black, but there's like a lot of detail in this. Let me show you up close. There's this like really nice, like, it's lace work, but it looks like cables almost on the front. And then I don't know what kind of stitch this is, but it's so beautiful. And then there's actual cables going down the back. And this is a vest by Irene Lynn. And it's meant to be super oversized. It actually wasn't, in my opinion, super size inclusive if you wanted to wear it with the amount of positive ease that it recommends. I, however, did not want it that oversized. It's like very oversized in the project photos. I did not even knit the largest size, and it's still, I have quite a bit of positive ease. So it's like one of those things where it's, I don't know how I quite feel about the sizing. But with that being said, it is a beautiful pattern. It was easy to read. I used a Lucky Brand cotton wool, so it's 50/50, and this is also from Joann's. And I'm so sad, honestly, because I really liked working with this yarn. I think it has like a really great like squish to it, and I was like, honestly, I was looking to see if I could find more of it, and I guess it was a Joann's exclusive because it's just not out there, and that's really unfortunate. But overall, really happy with how this came out. I think it'll look really cute over short sleeve tops, maybe something like with a puff on it. Next up is my Nebula. And this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I knit this in Knit Picks City Tweed DK. I have problems with this, and it's all my fault. I did not use like the recommended kind of yarn that she recommends. And I also didn't quite have enough to make the size that I wanted with the amount of positive ease that I wanted. But I must have miscalculated when I was looking at the pattern notes. And I had set this yarn aside for it. And it does have alpaca in the yarn, which is what she called for. But I ended up going a size down to have enough yarn, and I actually had to frog this at the very end because I was knitting one size up and realized very late in the game that I wasn't going to have enough yarn and I wasn't going to be buying any more. So I had to frog pretty much an entire sweater. and cast on a size smaller. It still fits, it still has positive ease, but not quite as much as I would want for this particular sweater, and it's also a little more cropped than I would like, and I really enjoy super crop sweaters. I have a very short torso and a large bust compared to my waist, so it really helps with my shape, but this is like just a little too cropped. So unfortunately, this is probably going to be frogged and turned into something else, but I will probably try to wear it and style it like 1 or 2 more times before I make that ultimate decision. The yarn is really beautiful. I think the colorway was called Toad, and it's very apt, so we'll see, but this is probably going to be a flop for me. This is a pattern that I've knit twice before. It's the Love Note. You all know it. I planned on casting on a Love Note every New Year's Day, and I couldn't wait. I really couldn't wait till next year to cast this on because I wanted a summer Love Note. I wanted a short sleeve version. This only has 1 repeat of the lace work, which is very nice in my opinion because I wear this over a lot of dresses. So when the lace work is really long, you can see the top of the dress, and that's like not my favorite look. So this way it just kind of shows the top here. You can't really see the like tank part of the dress underneath it. And this is, I'm gonna butcher the name of this yarn. It's Hirtgarn Organic 350 wool cotton. And I wasn't too keen on this color when I got it at first, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be like a deeper blue-green when I ordered it online. This came from Europe somewhere. So when it came in, I was kind of like, that's like really not a color I wear. However, I'm learning about myself. I actually think I love this color. I think it matches my eyes really well, and like over like a dark brown, I think it really does something. So I'm actually not mad at all, and I love this sweater. I wore it once so far, and because it's a Love Note, it was super fast. So highly recommend this pattern. I'm probably gonna end up having a million Love Notes. It's popular for a reason. It's super beginner friendly and super quick, and the amount of yarn you need is really, it makes it an affordable pattern, in my opinion. And the last garment that I have is the Riptide Slipover. And this was the first, I've had this fan on the whole time. I'm so sorry. Let me see if it's making too much noise. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry about that. I had the fan on the whole time. It's hot in this library. And I guess I couldn't hear it anymore, but I'm sure you can. I'm so sorry. But I'm not going to start over. So where were we? The Riptide Slipover. This is the first pattern that I can think of where I actually use the recommended yarn, which is the Fiberco and Make DK in this beautiful like plum wine with brown undertones. It has linen in it, which is the white because it doesn't, I guess it doesn't take to the dye as well as the other fibers. What else is in this yarn? Wool, alpaca, and linen. So a good option for a summer top. The pattern was easy to follow. I am going to at some point do some surgery on this one because I did make it to pattern, and in my opinion, it's too long on me. I don't like the way it sits over my hips. I'd rather it end like shortly after my bust, like my other shirts. And I've worn this twice. As you can see, it's much longer than a lot of the other garments I've shown you. But yeah, I'm just going to pull back and redo the ribbing. Probably, I don't know, I'll probably take like 2 or 3 inches off, but it's done for now, and it is wearable. I think I'll wear this for now, like with a skirt like tucked in on the front, to give that illusion of a more cropped look, and then just kind of like have it hanging out the back. But I love the yarn. The Fiber Co., I think they retired. I don't think they went out of business, but I mean, essentially they did. So you can't get this yarn anymore, which is really sad. I wish I had picked it up in another color. It's really, really soft. And the linen just gives it like a nice cool touch, and it's not stiff at all, because I guess the linen is like a pretty small amount. So it's not enough to like really make it stiff. And if anything, it's only going to get softer. The last finished object for knitting that I have it's crochet. Oh, my cat just entered the room. He knows how to open the door. It's just a little headscarf. It's crocheted out of cotton. I think it's Patton's Croy, like cotton fingering or something. I cast this on really quick the one day when I was hanging out with some friends, and I didn't have a project with me because I was coming from work. So I literally ran to Michael's super quick and just picked this yarn up because I wanted to make something. Hi, Wesley. That's Wesley. And yeah, I wanted to make something when we were all hanging out and talking. I like really need to be constantly working with my hands. And I started it when we were all hanging out, and then I put it down, and I haven't picked it back up since. So I finished this 2 days ago. Oh, actually, I also finished a pair of socks that I had been working on as well. A few days ago, I've been trying to like really condense all my whips down to none. You know, hope that's the goal. But these socks are like a non-standard sock pattern. They're called spiral socks. So there's no heel, but the way they're constructed allows for them to kind of shape to your foot easily. And I thought they were going to be like very uncomfortable, but they're actually not. They're super comfortable. They're DK weight yarn. Hi, buddy. They're DK weight yarn, which I prefer for socks. I think they knit up super fast when you use the DK weight as opposed to fingering. You know what? Let me let him out because he's gonna steal the show on me. One moment. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, I do prefer a DK weight yarn for socks because it knits up super fast, and this pattern is free on Ravelry. I will link my Ravelry below so that you can look at my projects page. I do update all of my projects onto there so you can look at the patterns if something inspires you today. Also, the only thing that's not on there is the headband, and that's because it was just kind of like a random cast on, and it's crochet, and I didn't have a pattern, and I don't crochet that often anymore, unfortunately, because of my wrists. I've been crocheting for 30 years now, and with tattooing and using my hands constantly, the motion of crochet seems to bother my wrists a lot faster than knitting does. So unfortunately, it's just something that I can't do as often, but I do try to do at least like one project a year just to keep the memory, you know, the muscle memory of it in my head. The next thing I'm going to show you is a sewing project, and it is a gift knit. So Megan, if you're watching, look away. I'm going to give you a moment. If you don't look away, the surprise is going to be ruined. Okay. I made my friend Megan a project bag for her birthday, which was a couple months ago. But I haven't seen her since I made it. And like I said, I was sick. And I just decided ultimately that I am not going to mail gifts anymore. I feel like that takes like the personality, like not personality, but like the closeness of like giving and receiving a gift. It's like a very like intimate thing to do, and I don't want to do that by mail. And Megan lives on the other side of the state, so she's very much like a pastel lady. She loves cute little animals, so I found this vintage fabric that fits her vibe perfectly, in my opinion. Just with some little bows, and this is like not felt, but like a flannel, so it just sits nicely. All my project bags are made this way, so that they stand up very nicely. And I will be giving this to her probably in July. I think I'm going to be in the Pittsburgh area, so she'll receive this then. But until then, it'll stay in the library. I also sewed a table runner for my kitchen table, which I didn't bring upstairs, but I will insert a video of it if I could figure that out, which I think I have the ability to do at this point. So I will post that now. I have sewn a few other small objects, mainly pillowcases, one for my bedroom, and actually 2 more to match the table runner, which will probably be in the video you just saw. I've been sewing for about a year now, and I do want to get into garments, so that's something I'm thinking about. Maybe like a dress or like a pinafore, so stay tuned for that if you're into sewing. But I also this month did, or not this month, but the past few months, quite a bit of spinning. The first one I want to show you is actually a sweater's quantity. And this is my first 3-strand, 3-ply. So it is a strand of Knit Picks wool of the Andes in black. Another strand is also wool of the Andes in this like green color, and then the third is a variegated yarn. It's like greens and browns, black, and a little bit of like a mauve purple color. It's really beautiful. I love the 3 knit up together or spun up together. I am going to make a sweater. I think I'm going to make a colorwork sweater where this is the main color. And then I'm going to do like very blocky black yoke. And it's about a DK weight, and I do have some black DK yarn. So I'm all ready to cast on for this project as soon as possible, honestly. I'm really excited for Tour de Fleece this year. I have a good stash built up, and I have like plans in my head. So that will be a video coming in July. This spin is 2 yarns, a 2-ply, and then the leftover single ply of the variegated yarn, I just did a chain ply. I actually really love the way the chain ply came out. I wish I had more of this, but it's Polworth. I ended up with 160 yards of a fingering weight, which like is good enough for something. So I'm excited to figure out what to do with this. But this main skein is Polworth, and Corriedale is the like rusty color that I held it with. And this is a fingering sport weight, 788 yards. So I have quite a lot to work with. Maybe it'll become like a ranunculus or something. I'm not sure. And then I did 2 quick, what is it called? I'll think of it. It's the type of spinning. But this is Targi from Fat Cat Knits, and I did 1 ply with half of the braid, and then the other ply I split into 4. I don't know why I can't think of what that technique is called. But I think it came out beautiful. It's crazy. It's really squishy. It's a really like cozy yarn. This is going to my friend Lochnitz, Haley, you know her as Lochnitz, but she saw this. I posted it in the lady chat and was like, anyone want this yarn? She was like, oh my goodness. So I can't wait to see what she makes out of this. And then I had some leftover. So once again, I chain plied this, and I'm going to give that to her too, because this is now her burden to carry. And last but not least, another Fat Cat Knits Targhee. Same technique where I did one ply, half the yarn, or half the braid, and the other half I split into 4. Beautiful like blues and browns. These aren't really like my colors, so I'm probably going to give this to a friend. But it was really fun to spin. Yeah, that's all the spinning I did. I do have 2 whips that I didn't get to clear off my needles. I'm really hoping to have one done by the end of this month, but it's already, what's today? I don't know. We have like 1 day left in May, so like it's not going to happen. But this is for a friend as well. She knows about it, so this is not a surprise, but it's for her store. So my friend Brienne owns Moon and Yarn craft room in around the Pittsburgh area, Bellevue. And this is a sample, or going to be a sample, for her store. So it's made with a yarn that she carries. Let me see if I can find the tag for it. I think it's Wonderland Yarns. Yes, it's Wonderland Yarns Confetti Fingering Weight. It's 92% superwash wool and 5% NEPS, 3% Lurex. So it's a really beautiful like pale pink, but then when you get up close, you can see all these little pastel NEPs, and there's actually, I think the Lurex is what it is. It reminds me of like a stellina. Just gives it a really pretty sparkle. It's definitely not like my colors, but I will say it's been really fun to knit with something that I wouldn't have knit with otherwise. And I'm honored to have a sample in her store when it's finished. So I've been working on that over the past few days. And my only other whip has been a very long-standing project. I started this vest last September, and I put it down over the winter because it got really cold in the library. So I wasn't hanging out in here as often, and it's just like not a portable project, and I'll show you why. So this is called the Burga, I think it's called the Burga Pull Under. Oh, Burga Vest by Rania Hakaleto. It's supposed to be 3 colors. I'm insane and decided to do, I think 5 colors are in here. So it's stranded color work that started bottom up, so it was in the round this far, and I've now split for the sleeve. So I'm knitting stranded color work flat using like 3 colors at most at a time, and it's so beautiful. But I've almost thrown this vest out the window a few times, and it's just because I'm a little impatient and I want it, and it's taking me forever. But that's why they call it slow fashion. And one day I will wear this vest super proudly, but that's not going to be for probably a very long time. But yeah, I love it. This is all Holskarn, which I've never used before. I'm interested to see how it blooms, because I've heard that you should wash it, like when you're blocking Holskarn, you should block it like 3 times. Or not fully block it, but wash it and rinse it like 3 times. And that really helps the lanolin, to remove the lanolin from the garment, and it blooms beautifully. So it's a little stiff, the fabric right now, but I've heard it does soften up a lot. So I'm interested to see what that looks like. Next up, I want to talk about my acquisitions, which I actually have quite a bit to show you because I've been to 2 yarn festivals since I last filmed. And I've also been to a local yarn store. We're having a like yarn quest. I'll post the information below, but you get a passport when you stop at your first yarn store, and then you get a stamp as you go. And it's all throughout the state of Pennsylvania, so it makes for nice little day trips. Actually, my friend Haley and I will be going on a yarn trip, day trip, to hit up a bunch of stores. We haven't picked a date yet, but it's going to be probably over the summer. So I'm sure you'll be seeing a little snippets of that. But I do have some moments from the festivals. I went to Connecticut Sheep and Wool, which unfortunately was when I was in the beginning of getting really sick, and I thought it was just like allergies at that time. Until I got home and it like really blew out of proportion. So I didn't film a whole lot there. I wasn't feeling like my best. So there's just like a few little clips. And then I went to the Central Pennsylvania Fiber Festival a few weekends ago, and that is local to me. That's only about 25 minutes from my house. And I did get a little more footage there, but I don't feel super comfortable like holding my phone out in public. So I just got like some little moments of some of the stands that were in there. Overall, it's a really nice festival for it being like a small local one. It has 2 barns and they're filled with vendors. And between those 2 and my local yarn store, I have a lot to show you. So let me pull that out and we'll get started. So first I want to talk about Connecticut Sheep and Wool. My friends and I stayed in Salem for a few days prior to going to the festival, and we did stop at a yarn store there. We were going to go to the fiber festival that they have in Salem, but our schedules just didn't align. So that's something we're going to try to do next year. But when I was at the yarn store in Salem, which is Circles of Stitches, I picked up this Lucky Feet. The representative from this company was there, and because they were having like trunk shows happening, and he talked to me about this yarn. He really sold me on it. It's sock yarn. However, it's split into 2 50-gram skeins already, so there's no questioning, there's no math. You just open up the skein and it's 2 little hanks and you just start knitting. So I'm going to make a pair of socks held double, so it's more of a DK weight. Really excited to use this. Love the colorway, very swampy. So the next day is when we went to Connecticut Sheep and Wool, and I did pick up a couple of items there. This beautiful yarn from Nor'easter. No, that's the type of yarn. It's Kingdom Fleece and Fiberworks from Vermont. Look at the colors in that. It's stunning. This is the color Walden on their new Nor'easter base, which is 100% New England wool. And it's 250 yards. I think I'm going to use this as color work in a sweater, maybe with like a dark brown base. I was so stoked on this yarn. I went back to it like 2 times and I was like, I have to just pick that up. Then we went over to Plies and Hellhounds, which I love her. Gabby, I watch her podcast and I've always admired her yarn. But nothing was like super speaking to me until I came across this fiber. So I bought enough to make a sweater's quantity. I'm going to hold this with another color I picked up at my local yarn store. This is called Calcified Heart. It is a gray Corriedale, and just like look at the colors in this. Absolutely stunning. Actually, I'm going to pause and show you the yarn that, or the fiber that I'm going to hold this with for the second ply. This is from my local yarn store, Lazy Meadow Alpacas, and it is the color, I think it's Rust. It's a merino. I just think they're going to look stunning together. I might do a 3-ply and hold it with a like almost black or super dark brown just to like tone this down a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when Tour de Fleece comes around. And then I did pick up just 2 ounces of Shanico wool because I've never spun Shanico before and I wanted to give it a try, and I loved this color. This is from Four Hearts Farm. It feels really soft. It almost feels like Polworth to me. So I'm interested to see if it's slippier, like slippy, or if it's really nice like Polworth is. So that was everything I bought at Connecticut Sheep and Wool. To be honest, I was a little disappointed. In my mind, I thought it was going to be like Maryland Sheep and Wool. I pictured this like really large festival, and it wasn't. It was like 3 barns. So I don't know. I don't know why I had that expectation. And it was nice if it was a local festival. I would definitely go every year. However, it's like 4 hours from me, so it's not something that is like easily accessible. But I am glad that I went this year and got to experience it. And in the future, if I'm like traveling and the stars align, I would definitely go back. But it's not something I would travel like to Connecticut just to go to on its own. Like I said, when I was talking about holding those 2 plies together, this merino is from Lazy Meadow Alpacas, which is a store that is local to me. It's about 25 minutes from my house. I met the owner, Elizabeth. She is super friendly, and she's also a member of the Spinners and Weavers Guild that I'm a member of. She's not as active of a member, so I've never met her at meetings, but I mentioned it when I stopped at the store, because I'd heard her name in, you know, in circles, and I showed her my project bags, and I'm going to be selling them at her store, which is really exciting. I have to make some more before I can send down a bunch, because I almost sold out of them at a tattoo convention I worked in April. So I want to get my stock back up before giving her like 10 or so. But yeah, that was really exciting. And I saw her at the Central Pennsylvania Fiber Festival, which is in Hughesville, which, like I said, is about 25 minutes from my house. There's a lot of like really fun vendors there, a lot of local vendors. I did pick up quite a few things from there. Well, not quite a few. I picked up 4 things. 2 skeins from Frogget Yarns, which I've seen Frogget Yarns at many a festival near me. And this yarn really caught my eye. It's yak fluff. So it's baby alpaca, merino, yak, silk blend in the color Olive Tree. Ugh. The yak really sold me. I don't know what it is, but like I'm having a moment where I really enjoy yak. I'm going to hold this double with something for a sweater. I'm not sure yet. I don't have like exact plans for this, but I'm very excited to use it. Speaking of yak, I also got a braid from Shirsty Cat Designs. And I've spun her fiber before. It's really lovely, but this is a new to me blend. It is 20% yak, 20% silk, and 60% Polworth. And it kind of looks, I don't want to say unappealing through the screen, but it looks like it doesn't, you can't feel this through the screen. It is so soft. I feel like the finished product is going to be very drapey with the silk. Can't wait. I was going to hold this with another Shirsty Cat design, straight Polworth that is pretty much this colorway. It's a lot deeper because of the content of the fiber, but I did pick up a braid of that at a previous fiber festival. So I was thinking of doing a 2-ply with the both of them, but because of the nature of this fiber, I'm almost tempted just to spin it on itself, just so I can like truly get a sense of what this feels like on its own. So I don't know, July will make that decision for me. I'm not like thinking about it super hard right now, but I'm really excited about this fiber. And last but not least, I picked up 4 ounces of this beautiful brown natural wool. And I took a picture of the tag because it didn't come with its own tag, but it is Border Leicester Romney Cross. And it just feels really soft. The woman that was selling this fiber was spinning it with a drop spindle in her booth, and it looked like it was spinning up beautifully. So, and I love a natural colored fiber, especially like this brown color. It's really beautiful. Squishy. So that's everything that I purchased recently. I have a lot of figuring out to do with patterns. And really, that's all I have to talk about for today, which I know has been a lot. This is definitely longer than my normal videos, but we had a lot of catch up to do. Next time, I want to talk about my summer knitting plans. Spoiler alert, it's going to probably contain a lot of summer knitting, fibers like cotton. I do have quite a bit, like I said, of this left, and I have some other cotton yarns that I need to figure out what to do with. So we can talk about that next time. I probably won't have much made between now and then because I'm hoping to get on a more regular schedule now that I'm feeling better. I feel like I've been saying that for a little while now. Being in front of a camera is not like natural feeling to me, and I'm sure it's not natural feeling to a lot of people, but some make it look more natural than others, and for me it's actually kind of a struggle, and I am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, but it definitely, like, I have that moment of like, okay, I have to get myself like all prepared, and then I'm just like, oh, maybe I can't do it today. But I'm trying to break from that. I'm trying to break from a lot of fears this year. So I hope you stick with me. I hope you continue to enjoy my content. And if you have any questions about any of the patterns or anything you've seen today, please comment below. Let me know if there's anything more you'd like to see. Oh, that reminds me, actually, I watched a Nicolas Cage video, movie, just for this video review. I didn't forget about that, although I almost just did. The movie was called Pay the Ghost. And I think I've seen this one before because it like sparked a memory as I was watching it. But you know, it's one of those movies that if Nicolas Cage wasn't in it, would I have liked it? Probably not all that much. It's silly. I think it's supposed to be scary. Basically, like a minor synopsis is a husband and wife. They have a son. The father's always busy. He's always at work. And so he finally gets a moment, and it's Halloween, and he's out with his son at a fair. And they're in the middle of the city. And then all of a sudden he looks down and the son is gone. So him and the wife are like, you know, obviously at odds because she's like, you never spend time with our son, and now that you do, he's, you know, missing, and they kind of go their separate ways, and he's trying to figure out what happened to his son, and it ends up being more supernatural than not. So I don't want to give too much away in case you want to watch the video, but you know, quintessential Nicolas Cage. He has his moments where I call it like he kind of does a rage, which I love about him. And he kind of has developed his own accent, which started really early on. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that or if it's just me, but you can really see it in movies like Vampire's Kiss. He has this really weird, it's not quite English, it's not quite New York, it's just a strange accent that is very much just Nicolas Cage. I don't know why it's not talked about more, but he does have like little hints of that. He's older in this film. Overall, I'm gonna give it like 5 out of 10 Cages. It was okay. It wasn't like his most unhinged by a long shot. And I probably wouldn't watch it again, but it's Nicolas Cage, so I had to watch it at least once. But yeah, thank you so much for following me on this journey, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.